Hey folks, let's get my friend thing here up. So you have something to look at while we're punching buttons. I'm punching buttons. I got maybe an hour-ish or so, maybe, to just work on some stuff here for the upcoming In Command project that I'm building out with Ukulele Bard and Adam Hancock. So give me a moment here. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, I just got to hit my signal here, and while I'm punching signals, just like, subscribe, because I just keep doing this stuff until it's done. You can check out the link below for all the various books that I publish on DMsGuild. They're all 100% preview, so you can run a campaign before you decide you want to buy them. You're most encouraged to do so. Also on the Patreon link that is in there, you don't have to be a patron to benefit from the playtest content that we will be opening up today for us to build this stuff out in. So just give me a hot second here and we'll make this stuff fly. Hold on. Okay, cool. Let's see. So that cleared that gate. That cleared that gate. And we've got that up and running. What am I looking for? I'm looking for... there we go. Okay, so, right, okay, great. So we're going to get started here. What we are doing today is we are, let's go to the... that's the consolidated document. Here's the playtest stuff. This is the stuff that you can see right now in the link below, and you can play along with me if you want to click on it and jump into the document and take a look where I'm at. Where I'm at is at the very end of the document. Jeez, moo. This document is up to 102 pages without illustrations. Before it's cleaned up, of course, this is just the raw text. Ukulele Bard is in the process of rewriting the front end, working his way down, and then once he's through with the rewrite, then Adam Hancock will chew on it a little bit more before passing it back for us to start building out in page layouts and then illustrating. So if you go into the Patreon link and just click on the playtest link, you'll end up here as well. Just kick down to the bottom of the document, and you'll be on the same page as I am currently. So what we are doing here is, if you scroll up back into the content, I think it's around page 63. That feels about right. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Where is guilds? Boop. Guilds starts on page 52 of the document that we're doing here. I'm going to set a timer just to make sure I keep myself on track. Here. Start. Okay, cool. Okay, so as a reminder, a guild is a collection of individuals that are allied in the purpose of whatever that guild is. You are, as a collective, furthering the goals of your guild. Hi, Tyler. Tyler, sorry, not DM, yo. I'm starting to learn names. Anyway, okay, so we're looking at guilds today, right? And so guilds are collections of allies that are working towards a common goal. And using the standard system of In Command that is further up in the document that you can freely look at by clicking on the Patreon link to look at this free content for you to view. You can see that guilds here, there's 5 ranks of guilds. The task bonuses that they gain for the different ranks that they are is the same. So like when you perform a task, the basic bonus that you get is that of your guild rank. And then on top of that, however much effort you exert as an organization to achieving that goal. And we defined effort down here. This is going to look similar for folks that are already using the In Command system and testing. That first rank uses a D4 plus your bonus. So like if we had a 5th rank organization, like say Boros Legion in Ravnica, or House Cannith in Eberron, or the Council of 8 in Waterdeep, in Forgotten Realms, for instance. Those are all examples of 5th rank guilds. that have a lot of power and wealth and resources available to them to achieve various goals, whatever those goals are. So when they exert effort, they are gaining a higher rank die for them to roll instead of an ability modifier. So you've got your rank, and then you've got, instead of an ability modifier, an industry roll. And this determines how many resources you are devoting to the task at hand. The term is delegating. How many resources you're delegating towards the industry that you are attempting to achieve. So, like for example, if you are attempting to establish a new supply chain to import raw wheat for you to grind into flour so that you can provide food, you could either do that through the commerce industry, or arguably you could do it through the health industry. And there's 6 industries which are defined in Baldron's guide, Adam Hancock's book, Baldron's Guide to Kingdom Building. You got commerce, health, lore, loyalty, military, and religion. So you could have a task, like if you want to grind wheat, or you want to gather wheat to build into flour so you can bake bread so you can distribute it to the masses. You could do that through commerce by establishing a supply chain, through health by being in that industry itself, directly working with different food merchants, or if you're a Christian, arguably religion, where Jesus is turning more and more bread out, if you're that kind of a person. But the more resources you devote to the industry at hand is going to be the type of die bonus that you're going to use on top of your industry. So if we're talking about, say, a 5th rank guild that's applying maximum effort into a task, like say aristocrats create a guild for them to be able to corner the mithril market so that they can drive up costs of high-end armor goods, then they would be able to do that through either commerce or military. And as a 5th rank organization, they'd have their D20 and then a +5 die roll. And then if they're exerting maximum effort, they'd roll a D12 in addition, averaging around a 6. So 5 plus average of 6 is going to average a +11 on top of the die roll, which is effectively the same as a basic ability check you're proficient with as a character. So those numbers kind of suss out. If that organization, say, wanted to feed all the starving children in their nation, but they didn't really care about that task, they could literally invest 0 resources into that industry to perform that task. But they're still a 5th rank organization, so they got their +5 and then a D3 bonus on top of it. They're probably going to end up rolling like a 6 or a 7. Like a 6 or 7 bonus on top of whatever they roll with their D20. They could kind of by accident actually achieve the goal, but you can tell they're not really serious about it or they're already overextended, maybe giving kickbacks to aristocrat organizations that are trying to corner the mithril market inside their nation. If they were serious about feeding all the kids, they'd put 25 resources towards health, so they get a D12 on the die roll on top of their +5, right? Hey, what do you got going on? I've been building a government system and guild system in my homebrew world. Nice. Wife asked if we are on a call because she knows your voice now. Right on. Hey, wife. So let's see what we are doing here. Okay, great. So a guild grows in its size by accumulating additional resources. You have to have at least one resource to be a 1st rank organization. Like if you are, like, say, starting a religion, a church in Waterdeep, then you would have people that are investing their time and energy each season into proselytizing, say, Cyric or Shar or Umberly or whomever it is. And then by the time they can have a maximum of 4 resources that they accumulate. And once they have more than 4 resources, then they can invest, once they get to 16 resources, then 36, 80, 64, they cap out at 100 resources. And to gain more resources, it costs resources. You have to invest money to get money. This is no different. So the higher rank organization you are, the more it costs you in raw resources to accumulate more of them. Here's the approximate amount of people that would be in your guild. So like it's not like I have 200 people in my guild, therefore I am a third rank organization. No, it's I have accumulated more than 16 resources, so that means I have enough wealth and activity and production value that I'm attracting that many people to my guild and organization. And if you wanted to randomize it, you could just roll, here's some numbers that you could just roll to create on the fly a random amount. So that's the quick skinny of it. You've got 6 industries that you can invest your resources into, and the more you invest your resources into a particular industry, the higher your bonus is for any task devoted to that industry. So if we're talking about religions and churches inside Waterdeep, you would think that they would want to invest as many resources as they can into religion itself, plus any ancillary industries that are going to help them achieving their main goal of proselytizing and growing their God's faith inside Waterdeep. So that is the structure and frame that we are using currently today for this case study of building out organizations in specifically churches in Waterdeep. So I'm going to spin down here to the bottom of the document. The other thing that's worth noting is that an organization can perform a number of tasks simultaneously equal to their rank. And they can perform as many tasks as they want. But if they are doing more tasks than their rank allows simultaneously, any excess tasks become disadvantaged. So like you could, a fifth rank, like for example, a first rank, or like say you've just got a couple guys that really believe in Saloon, and they move into this town and they are investing time each month towards proselytizing the values of Saloon. They will eventually either get wiped out by other organizations, which is an interesting conflict that the DM can narrate if the characters care about it. Or it's just some background scrub that happens that the DM can just note and then it gets washed off. And you don't have to devote resources and take all the time of building out the organization if you don't want to. But if your characters are intensely interested in the progress of Saloon in your community, then they're probably going to start devoting their own action economy, their own efforts, and start creating hooks for adventure around, let's make the Saloon church more powerful so that say they've got a paladin and a warlock and a cleric that are all, and say a bard that all have ties to Saloon. Then that team working together to advance Saloon's cause would make a lot of sense in that campaign. So they would want to do a bunch of adventure stuff involved in progressing Saloon. So when we want to look at, so as a background, if your team is building this guild, there can be other churches that can be presented as guilds that are contesting, fighting, or outright trying to assassinate the Saloon guild to prevent them from acquiring power, right? So that's where we're starting. The DMsGuild has the this is page 38. The DMsGuild for like $6 has the 3.5 book City of Splendor, Waterdeep, which is what I'm using to fish all this information out of. On page 38 of the book, which I believe is 40 in the document, here is we have churches that are inside of, churches and religious orders that are inside of Waterdeep. So we're going to, and I've already thumbed through a lot of this. I just want to show where the content's coming from for reference sake. What you got saying here, man? What if like every 4 years we have some got chose from each guild to fight in a tournament? Yep, that'd be totally cool. What they could do is they could either have somebody come out of the ranks to do it, or they could potentially recruit or hire a ringer, which might be your character, or if your character's involved, then there's a bunch of champions that would come against them as well. That would be easy to do. We'll look into that. So in this book, the City of Splendor's Waterdeep, it breaks down the different churches that have official presence inside of the city, and it tells you how many people are in there, and it also tells you about different associated skills, different rivalries that exist between them. And I've already done a lot of work towards consolidating all of that stuff. Hold on, let me find community case study. Here's all the different guilds. All the different churches presented as guilds that are listed in the City of Splendor. So there's Mystra, Saloon, Sharn, Umberlee, but there's also Cyric, Gond, Leviatar, Ogma, Talos, Timora, Tyr, Lathandar, as well as that's all of them. But then some of them, if you look at the document, it talks about different organizations like the Order of the Aster, which is inside of what is that, Lathandar? The Clerics of Lathandar. They have a number of different orders. They have their clergy. And these are all broken out separately. So using the mechanics that we have inside of guilds, we can extrapolate from this information what rank each guild is, therefore how many resources they have, and then we can play with how we would allocate those different resources. So I've started to do a lot of that resource up front. Like the descriptions that they have here has an interesting conflict between Mystra, Saloon, Shar, and Umberlee. Specifically, Mystra is openly conflicts Shar. Mystra is the secrets of, is the knowledge of magic, while Shar is all secrets hidden and concealed from your mind and from your eyes. So Shar has shadow magic, while Mystra has weave magic. That's like a classic Forgotten Realms conflict. So those two are just outright at war with each other, but inside of Waterdeep, you can't be killing each other, otherwise you're both kicked out. So they're like, okay, well, we can't have an overt war. It has to be like a secret war. Very much up Shar's alley. Then there's Saloon, which is also battling Sharn. Saloon is the light of the moon, while Shar is all that shadow, and I think Umberlee is like the god of those that dwell below, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not super heavy on Forgotten Realms lore, which is why this has been a fun project for me to work on. And then, of course, there's Shar, who is actively battling both Mystra and Saloon, and Umberlee, who is battling Saloon. So Saloon's church has bitten off a lot. According to the book document here, there's 240 members in their church, and they're broken. And they have the main clergy, but then they have a sub faction called the Order of the Blue Moon. And so the Order of the Blue Moon is, if we go down to Saloon, Church of Saloon. There we go. Let's zoom in a bit. Here is the Order of the Blue Moon. Mistral, the original goddess of magic, is said to have been born in Saloon, although Mistral's second successor, Mystra, once the immortal wizard Midnight. Background knowledge for those that read those novels. The Order of the Blue Moon is a small religious order dedicated to both the Mother of Mistral and the Reigning Lady of Mysteries. The group draws its name from the fluctuations of the weave that results in localized concentration of magic that occurs at varying locations during the nights of the full moon. Here, let me get on screen here for you guys. The group draws its name, blah, blah, blah. The order gathers, they seek advantage over the dark servants of their eternal foe by making strategic use of Saloon's influences over the weave, combined with the power of the weave itself. The order gathers only to debate shared goals and propose new missions beneath the light of the blue moon. The order's hidden chapter house is said to lie amid the red rocks north of Waterdeep, protected by blah blah blah. So this organization is actively, it's like a magical assassination guild that's designed to take out Shar specifically. So going back to the document that we're working on, we have the Order of the Moon, and it is a second rank organization because it has more than 10, less than 100. Saloon is a third rank organization because it has more than 100, less than 1,000. Mystra, more than 100, less than 1,000. There's going to be a common theme here that you see between these. Umberlee is very small. It's only second rank, while Shar, Saloon, and Mystra, all three are third rank. So pause to reflect. Can confirm. Phil is the Hunger Games. It's Bring it on, man. Just do the dues. Okay, great. So we know that an organization, a guild, can perform 3 tasks simultaneously before they are at disadvantage. Like if it takes you like 5 days to convince a diplomat to have dinner with the leader of your guild, that's going to be probably like a commerce or a loyalty task that your guild is performing, which is going to eat up one of your tasks. Maintaining a lifestyle so that you guys can stay indoors, that also eats up a task. And then there's, like, say, building additional resources by proselytizing or gathering alms, or any other number of things that you could do could eat up a third task. And then you've got other things that you could be doing, like creating assassination efforts to sabotage another church, or like creating, like maybe conducting counter-espionage to make sure that no one tries to put to catch your church on fire, for instance. These are different things that an organization has to decide. What's my top priority? How long is that going to take? Am I going to be disadvantaged at doing it or not? Because that disadvantage side really sucks. So that's some brutal stuff. So you want to figure out what is going to be the most important thing for you to do, and how you're going to pace that stuff out. So what I've already gone through and done is looked at. I've already plotted out the 4 warring factions that are in Waterdeep. I already thumbed through the book here to see how many people are in each one of them, and therefore how many resources they would roughly have. Like if you're second rank, you're going to have at least 5 resources, but less than 16. So on a scale from 10 to 100, if you've got 64 people, you're about halfway across the tier, so you're going to be about halfway up your ladder. So from between 4 and 16 is roughly a spread of 12 resources. So add 5 or 10 resources to the 4 you already have. That's how I got to 9. Like, that's the easy math. Then I looked into, like, this has got 24, and that is just barely past first rank. So Umberlee is like super small. So instead of having, they'd have 4 at first rank at most, and then they like, resources are like experience. The more you get, the higher rank you become. So these guys just crossed into second rank from first rank, and it's up to your DM to determine how fast they're growing. So these are religious organizations, so their top priority is going to be religion. We know how many resources they have, and this is how they're breaking down the use of their resources. So a third rank organization can spend it's 1 rank it's 1 resource for 1 rank, 4 for second rank, 9 for third rank, 16 for fourth rank, and 25 for a fifth rank task. And you could attempt to invest more resources than your guild's rank. Like I've got enough resources here to invest 16 resources to have 4 ranks of, say, in the religious industry. But since I'm only third rank, if I invest 4 ranks, I'm going to be at disadvantage, because I am pushing myself beyond what my rank's resources are to perform that amount of effort. Like, that's beyond maximum effort. That is over-exerting my organization. So that task will be at disadvantage. And then, if I'm performing that task when I'm already at maximum amount of tasks I can perform simultaneously, not only is that task going to be at disadvantage, but I will have to make a morale check to see if my organization can even muster the strength to perform the effort that the guild is requiring of them. So you would, on your command die check, like say I'm rolling a D8 for a third rank, if I roll 3 or above, then my team is willing to do it, but it's still going to be at disadvantage. So even though if I failed, like rolled a 1 or a 2, I automatically fail the task. It's just there wasn't enough manpower or will to get the task done. So you don't want to be investing more resources than your rank allows, otherwise you're automatically going to be at disadvantage. And then on top of that, it limits how many resources, it limits how many tasks you can actually perform at all without pushing your team into having to check morale. You could lose people as a result of failing this morale roll. They leave. Like, this place we're being pushed too hard. We're going to go start our own thing where we aren't being pushed so hard. So that's a dangerous thing that you're really playing with fire if you want to try to do that. So, but those are only real 2 constraints. Otherwise, it's up to you. So, we're looking at how they break things down. Their second, Mystra being goddess of mystery, her second most important task, or the second most important industry to them is lore, which is where like research and discovery and controlling information. That's kind of the that's the wheelhouse for lore. Then they've got a resource invested in loyalty. That's just to make sure that if there is a defamation campaign that like Umberlee or Shar attempts to launch against Mystra, that she's at least got some resources going into having an opposed role that isn't just going to be a D3. It's at least going to be a D4. So it doesn't sound like it's a lot better, but again, it's only one resource. And then also military. They've got 1 rank invested into military, which means that it's easier for them to be able to recruit mercenaries and like Sohei temple defenders, which comes in handy. But then you can also see here, it's not an industry, it's an actual task, which is counter-espionage, which keeps them safe. It's 4 resources, so it's a 2nd rank task that they've got devoted into quelling defamation campaigns, to prevent Shar or Umberlee from being able easily to bribe people like city officials in Waterdeep from trying to levy lawsuits or accuse Mystra of crimes that they didn't commit. For instance, Umberlee could very well be committing crimes and then trying to frame, say, Saloon as the person that had performed that. And you can see here that Saloon has counter-espionage as well to prevent them from... So they aren't just finding out about it after a fact. They can find out about these things before they happen. If you check out counter-espionage in the tasks that we have above, it goes into in-depth information about how counter-espionage works. But then Saloon is interesting because they also have commanding the Order of the Blue Moon. One organization can lead or command another organization by investing a number of resources to, like, our church is also controlling the Order of the Blue Moon. That's part of our organization. So some of our clergy is reallocating the church resources to be able to fund the Order of the Blue Moon. The Order of the Blue Moon then becomes its own 2nd rank organization. So even though you're investing as a church, you're investing 4 ranks and commanding this 2nd rank organization. The organization itself has 9 ranks as a 2nd rank organization. So if your guild is investing in other organizations or other communities, your guild can control a lot more than just its resources because it has influence over these other organizations that have more resources collectively than yours. For example, BlackRock has $9 billion in assets, but those assets control about $15 billion worth of other companies throughout different industries: pharmaceutical, real estate, military investment, chips, like microchip technology. As an organization, it's seeded investments in a huge amount of different industries that allows it to reap in return a far larger amount of power than just what its own assets hold. So that's what the system is building out, and this is that. Again, it's a case study showing how would these different organizations allocate their resources to be able to invest in doing what they do. So hopefully I'm not word salading too hard at you, but this counter espionage, that's a task. Commanding Order of the Blue Moon, that is a task, and these things are separate from anything they may be trying to do in using just their industry themselves. But they're a 3rd rank organization, so we already know they have a maximum of 3 tasks that they can perform at once. So they have 2 tasks that they have dedicated for the entire season: commanding the Blue Moon, as well as maintaining counter-espionage so they don't get blindsided by bad news that could be coming up from someone else that's gunning for them. That leaves one task open. Normally, that other task would be like alms or performing lore research and stuff for income so they can maintain a lifestyle. But since Waterdeep has an actual physical church for Saloon, for Umberlee, for Shar, for Mistra, in the content above in the community area of building out organizations, the physical community has churches that are physical locations inside the community that itself, the physical building, is itself a resource that the city maintains. What happens is, like, say Mistra comes in and is like, hey, we want to build a church here. We're going to build the church. And in doing so, it gives that city a free point of resources for themselves. Like, hey, we just gained a free point of resources in your church. As long as you're around, now that you are established in our community, we can tax you. And we can tax you your rank -1. So they allow Mistra to have a church in their city, and as a result of it, the city gets more than just one resource back from them. So they're getting a taxation resource that the city can use to, like, say, maintain a library, feed the homeless, go to war with, I don't know, whoever, I don't know, 10 towns, who cares? You know, whatever. They can use those resources for their own gains. So there's an exchange there that happens that we discuss up above. Checking in on references I had an idea I wanted to talk to you about, by the way. Well, you are welcome to drop me a note about that in Discord, because I only got about maybe a half hour or so that I can keep going through this case study before I have to log it for the day. But I'll be around later on today. So drop me a hey, and I'll get back at you about that, T. So let's see. We are looking at, okay, great. So this is the amount of resources they have that we built out of the amount of people that they have in their organization. So that's where these numbers are coming from. Like, you can have up to 30, like Saloon could have as a third rank organization. Once it accumulates 36 resources, it's capped its third rank. So if it gains another resource, it then becomes a fourth rank organization. But accumulating resources is a task that takes an entire season. So if they if they were to increase the size of their organization on top of counter-espionage, on top of commanding the Blue Moon, anything else that they try to do at that point would be at disadvantage, because they're overexerting their church. Instead, they created the Order of the Blue Moon. And so you can see here, the Order of the Blue Moon, as a second-rank organization, has invested 4 of its 9 resources in attaining additional resources. So, assuming nothing bad happens, they'll be able to, next season, gain a 10 point. Like, they'll be able to bump up to 10 resources. It may or may not increase the amount of people that they have, but it could if they spend resources on recruiting more people, for instance. So, but this is a way that the Church of Saloon doesn't have to invest any of its own resources in accumulating more resources as an organization total, because it's got Order of the Blue Moon. The only thing that the Order of the Blue Moon needs to do as a second-rank organization is grow, maintain loyalty, and have a strong military. You can see here that the Saloon itself has nothing invested in military, because it built a militant arm of its church that's focused specifically on fast growth and killing people they don't like. So Saloon can keep their hands clean while they let Order of the Blue Moon do all the dirty work. Yes, it's part of Saloon, but it's also a militant faction. So inside the city of Waterdeep, let's keep things cool. Let's stay casual here. We've got our resources. We're trying to stay friendly with people. And yes, we organize this militant organization outside of Waterdeep or in secret inside Waterdeep. Order of the Blue Moon can perform all sorts of combat stuff as well as attaining resources. So let's spin up here. Is it possible for me to stay on this page and just jump over to another document for us to look at. Let's see. Let's look at, oh yeah, here we go. Recruiting allies. So let's look at, you're in a metropolis, which is what Waterdeep is, right? And they are a second rank organization inside of a metropolis here. So they could theoretically drop in a second rank. Let's see. Second rank organization. I think I built this wrong. I think it should be going village, like the size of the structure across the top, and then the rank going down. Because let's see, a second rank organization. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, so if nope, I built that wrong. So you are watching me trying to fix stuff in real time. So let's see. That's first rank, that's second rank, third rank. That's a fifth rank, fourth rank, third rank, second rank. This should be 1, and this should be 2, and this should be 3. Like I said, this is InDesign content. This stuff is not published yet. I'm allowed to make mistakes like this. And this should instead be no, I have it right. The size of the settlement should be independent. I need to break this out into 2 separate charts is what I need to do. A second rank organization can recruit, like a first rank organization that wants to recruit people. Okay. DC by rank. So the rank, this is the rank of people I want to recruit. And this is how many of them I can recruit inside of a city. Like in Waterdeep, a second rank NPC, which is like a fourth rank character, or like has like a +5 bonus in like research. For instance, I could find D10 times 1,000 of those guys in a metropolis of Waterdeep with 1 million plus people. But the organization itself is capped at DC by rank, community size. If I want to, in Waterdeep, recruit 2 second-rank people, in Waterdeep it would take a DC 16, and if I was a 5th-rank organization, I could potentially find 10,000 of these people. But as a second-rank organization, first rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank, I need to break this out into a separate chart. 5th rank, so second-rank organization, the Order of the Moon. If they're recruiting, they have second rank in military, which means that they would be able to recruit up to D4. Yeah, they could recruit on the fly D4. Like for example, like a party of 5th to 8th level adventurers. They would have the ability to recruit an adventuring party of up to 8th level. Which they could then have them assign a hook to go attack, say, Umberlee. Like, go burn down Umberlee's church. Well, we'll go down here to Umberlee, and if the team is going to recruit, if your adventuring team is going to get recruited to go do that, these guys are only second rank, so that means they've got, 24 guys? So if you go in and you as a team got recruited to burn down Umberlee Church, you would be potentially facing up to 24 enemies in that church, of which could be up to second rank, which would have 4th rank in religion, which means that they have second rank, which is up to potentially 4th level spells that they could be casting at your team. Their loyalty is only 1st rank, so they're going to be like at most they would be. If like your team came in here and tried to burn down the church, they have 0 resources invested in counter-espionage, so they would not see it coming. Your team would most likely be able to actually get to the church and even through the door before they actually have a second-rank challenge inside of that facility, which would be the actual clerics and clergy that are inside of that place and the temple guardians that make up those 24 people inside their small church. Your team shows up to burn the place down. They're probably going to be fighting like CR 2 or 3, crusaders and priests and other like CR2 priests or adepts or rogues that are in the monster manual, for instance. So your team is fighting your team of, say, 5th level characters. It wouldn't be that difficult for them to be able to just completely destroy Umberlee. Of course, if they did that, then that means that Waterdeep can, the Waterdeep law enforcement would be able to use their resources and their magical capabilities of being able to find out, hey, who burned down Umberlee Church? It's going to point to your characters. That becomes your new plot hook. You're now murder hobos on the run inside of Waterdeep for burning down Umberlee. So that's actually kind of a bad idea to do that inside Waterdeep. But what if Umberlee was having a aquatic ceremony out at sea on a blessed sea barge that's outside of the city gate, the Waterdeep, Waterdeep Bay. So they're outside of Waterdeep's territory. Umberlee can do their sacrifices without getting in trouble because that's where they need to do it to not get in trouble. And now your characters could go out on a boat and attack that barge and try to like say rescue the people that are going to be sacrificed, assuming they want to be rescued, as well as attack the clerics that are performing the sacrifice to Umberlee on that barge. That becomes more of a challenge. Your team needs to have access to a boat, which you can get. If you don't want it to lead back to you, you could potentially steal that boat, which becomes a boat heist that you can perform in the port. Go out, try to eliminate the place, and then get back to port and drop off the boat before anyone notices it's gone. That way, there's not much of a trail leading back to your characters. Technically, Waterdeep can't do anything about the attack on the barge, but they can do something about the boat stolen. So if they can get out there, destroy the barge, and then get back to Waterdeep before the people that own that boat know that it was stolen, there's no crime to report inside of Waterdeep. Umberlee could complain that lawful good characters came in and killed them all, but technically Waterdeep doesn't care. They don't care because it's Umberlee. The only reason why Umberlee is there in the first place, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is to make sure that evil gods don't come and destroy all the boats that are coming and going out of Waterdeep. They're just kind of paying their dues to Poseidon, as it were, except that it's Umberlee instead. So, catching up on notes here. Talking in reference to your talking salad phrase, I had an idea. I wanted to talk to you. Salad can't be eaten. Right on, man. Okay, great. So let's go back into this is how these are organized. But what's the story we can narrate out of this? So let's take a look here. What can I do? I'm gonna hit that. What can we do here? Okay, so we know it has 3 tasks that can be performed simultaneously. 0 lifestyle equals poor, because they have as we discussed in the content above, if you have a building if you own a building inside of Waterdeep then helps subsidize your cost of living. You are giving them a building resource, which they then turn around tax you for. In return, you automatically get the minimum lifestyle that the city supports. And Waterdeep supports a poor lifestyle minimum. Like, you can't have worse than poor, which means, according to the DMG, a poor lifestyle means you're going to get at least 1 meal a day so you can stay alive. And you're going to have a closed door that you can lock so that you aren't people have to commit a crime trying to get to you to commit another crime. So you've got layers of security. You have a home that you can secure, that you can keep things in, that you can do your own business with, and if anyone tries to violate that, the authorities of Waterdeep can come down and punish whoever it is that violates that closed door policy. So all of these churches have invested in having buildings inside Waterdeep, which secures their borders inside of their guild. So Umberlee can't just come in and kill anyone that's in Saloon, or the Order of the Moon can't just come in and decimate Sharn or Umberlee. They have the city's protection, maybe begrudgingly. Maybe Waterdeep doesn't want Shar there or want Umberlee there, but there's enough God influence that punishes mortals for not giving them what is their due, that they feel compelled to do that. If there were to be a major political shift inside of Waterdeep, potentially Umberlee could be punted out of that, which would most likely draw all sorts of ocean catastrophes to ships coming and going from Waterdeep. So Umberlee may in fact actually gain in power over time if there's more and more aquatic resources that start getting dumped into Waterdeep. So let's see. We're looking at 3 tasks. Lifestyle is poor. Life 0 equals lifestyle poor. But they could, they have that poor baseline, but they could choose to invest, say, in religion, use their religion bonus, which is a D8 in their 3rd rank, so it's +3. So it'd be a D8 +3 plus D20 for them to roll. And say they rolled, it's 13 for poor, 16 for modest, 19 for comfortable, 22 for wealthy, and 25 for aristocratic. A 3rd rank guild doing a D8 plus a 6 with most at best a bonus of +11 has you can roll 14 or above and be aristocratic, but most likely what is going to end up happening is probably going to end up being comfortable. What you can do each season, and I've discussed this before, is if you're investing a lifestyle, if you're investing resources into maintaining a lifestyle, you roll whatever it is, and whatever you get is what you're able to pull. If I roll a 26, then this season we can have an aristocratic lifestyle, or you can convert that lifestyle into just a gold value that you can then put in your coffers and stay poor or stay comfortable. So you can build a cash resource to buy magic items, or pay bounties to characters that are cashing in plot hooks. But you could also take gold and convert it into resources. So instead of that aristocratic lifestyle and pocketing 2,000 gold this month for your guild, you could instead, say, invest that 2,000 gold into gaining 3 additional resources this season, which you would then be able to turn around into, say, making it easier for you to build another resource. So you have this looping process of, I get gold from killing a dragon. I now have 20,000 gold, which I could then dump into my guild to maintain a lifestyle so it stays solvent for the next 20 years. Or I could convert those 20,000 gold pieces by distributing them into the community, and in return, maybe I get back 10 extra resources this season, which I could then convert into bribes, gaining additional, permanently gaining additional resources by flat out buying them, create new food supply chains, all the different things that you can do with tasks up above. When a player character dumps gold into their character, they don't have anything better to do with it. You convert it into resources that they could then invest into creating new guilds, into funding settlements to go off and create new communities. Or you can establish a presence inside of the community that you like, say here in Waterdeep, or you could just create a new guild or strengthen the guilds that you have. So that's the thought process behind that. So we have this 3 tasks. So if they wanted to, they could invest additional resources, and since it's a church, they could gain lifestyle through religion if they wanted to, or they could use lore by selling research options or spellcasting to gain that income. You can choose any industry you want. The default is commerce, but you could, with your DM, you could decide, well, this organization is focused on lore, so all of our wealth is generated through research or finding out information, like scouts, or an espionage, a spy service would be mostly lore and loyalty. while a church here obviously is religion plus whatever their side hustle is. So you can have as many side hustles as you want as long as you're willing to pay for them. So we have these 3 tasks. So I'm going to just go through here. Zero lifestyle plus 1 task. So these guys have counter espionage. Plus 2. So because they're 3rd rank, they can have 3 tasks at a time, right? And they have a non-industry task, counter espionage, and so then they have 2 more tasks. But since all of their resources are already allocated, the tasks that they perform have to be industry tasks. So, and again, we were discussing that. Like, as long as your DM agrees, you can use any resource to perform any task that you want. Like, if you wanted to gather soldiers to fight a war, you could use your religion to frame that recruitment as a crusade, as opposed to like a smash and grab. Like, we want to go fight these orcs. It's not a religious thing. We just want the copper mine that they're squatting on. That would be either like a commerce or a military activity. You wouldn't be able to have religion playing to that unless you and your DM decide that the ludonarrative of this task is actually religion focused. So when you're building an organization, you can work with your DM about, hey, how much can I actually use these resources to do different things? And if you just come up with a new idea, you can work with your DM. It's like, well, for now, let's make that a military thing until you establish here's a quest your characters have to perform, and if you complete that task, one of the benefits that you're going to receive from that quest is that military task can now be allocated to religion. So you automatically dumping a ton into religion. Fantastic. We can make a crusade out of this from now on if we want. Like, these are just like low-hanging plot hooks that you can throw out for characters to work with their DM, leaning into government and guilds and organizations and structures to frame what the narrative for why these things are. The plot hooks come from the narrative inside of your game, while the rewards and the challenges of what you're doing is dictated by the rank or level of your characters, or the rank and resources that the guilds or the NPCs have access to, either against each other as a background thing that the DM doesn't really have to play out. You can just narrate. Most of the time, if you don't break down all this math like this, if you don't create these structures, your DM is kind of like, yeah, it makes sense that Mistra and Saloon would have a war against Umberlee and Shar, but since the characters aren't directly involved in it, let's just assume it stays static. Or because Mistra and Saloon are so much bigger and they're both beating up on Shar, maybe that explain. Maybe we tear down Shar a little bit this next season, and like they suffer losses, and now Shar's angry. A DM can just decide that and write down on a piece of paper. But once your characters get involved, it becomes serious business. Like, you need to know what resources these guys have. You need to know how many things can they realistically pull in. And you can always start small, and you can keep building and growing bigger and bigger as you go. Like, anytime you start pushing into things that are like this is a 4th rank thing that it looks like this church is trying to do, they're probably going to fail. You can actually roll it out. Did they succeed? Yes, they did. Despite all odds, they succeeded at that massive task that they shouldn't have been able to accomplish. Well, great. That was an upset in your campaign. That becomes an event that now creates new plot hooks that your character can perform. They overexerted themselves. They failed a check. Not a big surprise. That becomes a plot hook of the fallout for failing that task. You lose support. Your enemy church gains support. You wasted all that time and that resources. Maybe we're going to give you, as a penalty for failing the task, the DM can arbitrate, well, now you're going to have to roll, you're maintaining a lifestyle at disadvantage next season, for instance. Like there'll be penalties and bonuses that the DM can ad hoc reward as rewards or penalties for attempting a task and not succeeding at it. Do you want to succeed at a task? Don't just leave it to your guild. Have your characters actually do that task themselves. Is it a boring task? Do it anyway, because the DM can now use that as an excuse to introduce the next plot hook that ties into the goals that you've created for your organization. So it's so there you go. So right now we are building out the tasks that these guys can perform. So that's where we're at here. These guys, since they're second rank, they can perform 2 tasks at the same time. They don't have to worry about maintaining lifestyle because technically this lifestyle is being paid by their parent organization. They could pay for it themselves, but in this instance, they're using Saloon to pay for their lifestyle because Saloon is getting their lifestyle resolved by Waterdeep because they own property here. So that kind of cascades down into their organizations. As long as these guys could tie up all 3 of their tasks by having 3 different organizations. Like for example, we come over here. And we go down to Lathendar. Lathendar has 3 organizations. They have their clergy, they have the Order of Aster, and they have the Order of the Sunsoul, which also is loyal to Saloon. So that is an order of militant monks that use Lathendar's church as their monastery, but they also have political or religious ties to Saloon because Lathendar is like the morning light, while Saloon is the moon's light. So the Sun Soul has both patronage with Saloon and Lathendar. So these guys can have no problem maintaining their lifestyle because both of these churches are paying to keep this organization going. So I actually can split this guy off into its own monk monastery, for instance. So, but Lathendar is a third rank organization, so it can only maintain the clergy, it can only maintain the order, and it can only maintain the order of the Sun Soul. Those are 3 tasks that require constant effort to maintain. So they can't, if they even tried to maintain their own income, they would fall through. Luckily, they've got the church, so that maintaining the poor lifestyle is something that, again, the city of Waterdeep is automatically maintaining for them because Waterdeep automatically maintains a poor lifestyle because of their investment of resources on any organization that has property inside of the city. If you're building inside our city, we'll guarantee you at least the minimum lifestyle to keep that building from eroding. There's other areas inside Waterdeep, there's 10 wards in Waterdeep. Not every ward necessarily has a guarantee of income. Like there's slums that have a whole bunch of people that live in squalor, that don't have buildings. They're not spending any money inside of that ward to have a base lifestyle for all of its residents to maintain. Or in another scenario, they do have that poor lifestyle, but there's so many people that are coming into the community that they are overextending the resources to provide that basic social net. It's been overtaxed, and they've just naturally conglomerated over into those slums because that's just where the police are pushing them to. So there's different ways we can structure that, which we can visit on a future case study. So I am trying to push the ball a little bit further down the goal before I run out of time today, and then we'll have to pick up the rest of this next time. So I've got the 3 tasks. Umberlee is a second rank organization, so they have 2 tasks. Little T, 2 tasks. 1 is lifestyle. 2 plus tasks. And I don't know what those tasks are yet. That's what we're going to decide here. So, and this has +1 task. I haven't allocated what that task is yet. 2 tasks, which is +2 tasks. plus 1 task. They've got the attain resources. So they're spending one of their 2 tasks to attain resources, which takes a resource takes all seasons to accumulate this way. But it's permanent. So, value. Do I have all these guys? Shar, Umberlee. I'm going to create some more space between these guys. Like I haven't thought this stuff through yet. I am literally building this stuff on the fly as just a thing to do. Because I welcome disaster. Because I welcome disaster in every way. There, and then we'll go with these. These. There we go. Like I've never even built a guild organization table, or like I don't even know what the right like a guild stat sheet, I guess, is what we're doing here. So I'll probably actually have to build one when the thing gets released and add it as part of the download content in the zip file that inevitably comes with like everything that I offer. So automatic through Waterdeep proper, through owning through Waterdeep, through Waterdeep. I don't think I want to include property there. This is 3rd rank. Three tasks. So they've got, they got counter espionage there, and they got 2 more tasks that they can perform. They got loyalty, 2 tasks that can be performed. Waterdeep plus 2 tasks, plus 2 tasks, plus 1 task, plus 1 task. What is this? Order of the Moon through Saloon. Through Church of Saloon. Okay. So that is our default. And so let's see, plus 2 industry tasks. So what we're going to do is that's honestly about all the time I have today. So I'm going to have to go ahead and cut this. I may be on like 6 hours or something like that. I might be back around. I'll probably instead go to bed. But if I can't sleep, I'm going to come on here. I'm going to grind through some more of this like late tonight. But this is the start. So this is how we start this thing. Like I said, I've never built. Like, I know how this stuff works, but I've never actually built out how it looks. So this is us creating. We're creating together here, folks. So let's go with industries. Oh, I could probably do industries and tasks like that. That's probably how I can actually do this thing. So there's that. There's that. There's that. I'm just going to do it like this for now. Okay, so like everything I do, it takes forever. This This is making sausage in the third-party content production for D&D or other 5e game stuff. This is going to be on the DMsGuild. I'm going to go ahead and cut stream here, but when we come back, I'm going to just dive right back in and start looking at what tasks do I want these guys to perform. Maybe I'll pull up some information about Umberlee directly, see what kind of stuff it does. It might not be that difficult to flesh all this stuff out, or it could be incredibly... I honestly don't know. This is the first time we're trying to do this. So I am going to, therefore, call quits for now. That's our stream. This is in the playtest content, even though it's not finished yet. But we will come back around either today, or we'll probably do this on Friday, since we have enough content ready to go for our playtest this Saturday for the Descent into Avernus vehicles. I don't need to allocate time on Friday to do that, so I think what will happen is probably going to come back here and we're going to finish this up on Friday. If we don't outright just get it, if we can come back tonight, great. I'm not going to guarantee that though. So, but I will be here on Friday doing more of this. Thursday night, looks like I'm going to be doing more Eberron Adventure design, probably trying to finish up some maps. Make those look good. Man, I'm really excited about how well the Eberron campaign is, the Eberron Adventure is coming along. We've got one DM that's chewing on it. It's going to run it this week, and I think I have 2 more DMs lined up that once I finish integrating the information that the current DM provided, I'll pass it off to the other DMs to see if they have anything else that crops up as problematic. But I think by the end of August, we'll have had enough DMs chewing on this to point out any stumble blocks for us to be able to continue moving forward. Monday, again, will be the Martial Powers Monday lunch, where we're going to start working on the monk. And that's it for now. So like, subscribe, share, check out my books on DMsGuild in the description below. Check out this playtest content in the Patreon link in below, but you do not have to be a Patreon member to access this content. I would certainly love your support, but I expect to have to earn it first. So stick around, see what we're doing. I am so looking forward to this being done so that I can do this all in layouts on stream. And once the layouts are done, I can start actually illustrating the book on stream. Oh my God, that's going to be amazing. And with any luck, this and the Eberron Adventure are going to be publishing Q1 2023, hopefully in the next 6 months, these things will be published. Martial Powers will probably be right on its heels. Probably going to be able to publish that in late Q2 or Q3 of 2023. And then from there, we rebuild the 5-color mana spell point variant rule systems that we've built, adding in spell point Artificer, adding in spell point Sorcerers, adding in Theros, adding in Strixhaven. And that's going to be Q3 2023. So whatever it is that Wizard of the Coast puts out for MTG and D&D, maybe they'll surprise me, and maybe it'll be a Planeswalker campaign setting where they actually give us color identities to all the spells. But I don't think that's going to be the way. I don't think they're going to go that way. I think they're just going to have color be a background. They might not ever even get into color with MTG. I'm not sure if they will or not, but God bless them if they do. If they don't, check out my link below. And I already have a perfectly functioning color mana system that you can use with MTG and D&D right now, and it's only getting better. So like, subscribe. I'll see you guys here ASAP to get back into this mess. See ya.